High performers are wired for excellence. It's the reason they succeed in business and leadership. But when that same mentality gets applied to wellness, it often creates a problem. They sometimes overcomplicate health so much that the follow through becomes impossible. In this episode, I want to challenge the exhausting version of wellness that so many people have adopted and talk about why simplicity may actually be the thing that moves the needle the most. Welcome to Wellness for High Performers, where ambitious people discover the path to sustainable wellness that actually feels good so they can build the dream without burning out. I'm your host, Erica Jones. I'm a wellness strategist and entrepreneur, and I help high performers create massive momentum by weaving wellness into their daily life. Today, I want to open this episode by talking about Kobe Bryant. He was an absolute legend. He won 5 NBA championships, was named MVP multiple times, and was known for what he coined the Mamba mentality, a relentless pursuit for perfection and the discipline to outwork everyone. But there's a surprising secret about Kobe's success that a lot of people don't know. I was doing some research for my upcoming wellness book for high performers, and I came across this video of Tim Grover, who's a performance coach who trained Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, and Kobe Bryant. In the interview, Tim spoke very highly of Bryant. He talked about his work ethic, his focus, his determination to be the absolute best. And the fact that when he asked him when he wanted to retire, Kobe always said after six because he wanted to win more championships than Jordan. But one thing Grover mentioned about Kobe that most people don't realize is that he never let go of the mentality of overtraining. And in the video, Tim Grover stated it like this. He said, one of the biggest differences between the two, he's comparing Jordan and Bryant, is that Michael always knew when it was enough and he would listen to you. And if you said that's it, then that's it. But with Kobe, that's it means that's it for the moment. But 3 hours later, I can start back up again. It looks good on paper, right? But behind the scenes, Bryant was paying a heavy cost and he knew how to push really hard and drive for success. And obviously, he was extremely capable, but he didn't know how to slow down. And Grover likened him to a Ferrari with faulty brakes. He was just all acceleration, no slowing down, which is dangerous. And the result is that Kobe's knees were causing him a lot of issues. When Grover started working with him back in 2007, one of the first things he did was take an inventory of all of the specialists and therapists that he was seeing, and there were a lot. An athlete that's performing at that level has endless options, of course, and lots of people that want to take credit for the results that they're getting. But Grover noticed that the most obvious issue with that Kobe didn't have a strong foundation. Now, stay with me because I'm going somewhere with this. He had a lot of bells and whistles and fancy treatments, but there was no solid structure. To build the foundation, Grover put him on a weightlifting routine. And according to him, weightlifting strengthens the athlete and it helps prevent injuries, which is obviously extremely important. But most people don't do this because it's too simple. Now, Bryant went on to work with Grover from 2007 to 2012. And in that same time period, he won the 2009 and 2010 NBA championships to back, which is really hard. Now, why am I sharing about Kobe Bryant? Because there are themes in his story that you and I can learn from. Just like Kobe, you're a high performer and you're probably really good at what you do, and it serves you because you get results. But there is a time and place for everything. When you apply the same level of force and focus and activity to your health, especially when you're starting from scratch, it often backfires. Why? It's not because you're lazy or you're lacking in discipline. Without even knowing, you've adopted what I call an exhausting version of wellness that requires too much energy to sustain. So, in Kobe's example, his physical body could not sustain the level of training that he was engaged in. And we saw it in the fact that his knees were deteriorating, making him more prone to injury. Now, just think about your life right now and all that you're juggling, your business or your professional life, your kids' weekly sports schedule, family logistics, what's for dinner, where are we going to go on vacation, helping with homework, keeping the fridge and toilet paper stocked, organizing your finances, paying the bills, clearing your inbox, sorting through the mail, scheduling doctor's appointments, returning phone calls. And if you're like me, you can throw homeschooling right there on top of it. And this is just kind of a quick summary of it all, right? I don't have time to talk about all the different tabs that I know high performing women, especially, have going inside of their head. Now, when you compare all of that, all that you're doing, all that you're juggling, to the messaging that you're being given about what it takes to be healthy, it creates a problem, because the messaging that we're getting around what it takes to be healthy is wake up at 5 a.m. to cold plunge, work out 5 days a week for at least an hour, and make sure that you're in pain by the end of the workout. Spend hours on the weekend prepping perfect meals, and don't forget to track all your macros. Spend thousands of dollars on biohacking equipment, take dozens of supplements every day, timed exactly right. I could go on. You see these quote unquote rules, you try to fit them into your life in varying degrees, right? Maybe you're not waking up at 5 a.m. to cold plunge, but you've probably felt the pull of what I'm describing. And this is at exactly the moment when wellness goes from something that's supposed to bring you relief and enhance your life and add value, but instead it turns into a full-time job, because you just can't work on proper hydration, right? That's just too simple. Going back to what Tim Grover was saying about the athlete strengthening their muscles, lifting weights, we can't just start there with that as a foundation, because that's too simple. You have to dive in head first and do all the things, all the treatments, all the therapies, the morning routine, the schedule that feels unsustainable, because if you don't have all of these things, it doesn't count, right? There's no point. That is the high performer mentality. It's all or nothing. And that can work at times when you're training to be an elite athlete or to maybe outperform your competition in business, but it becomes a problem when it's applied to your health. But that's what so many people are doing. And that's why it feels impossible, because it is. When you try to do all the things and live up to the version of health that you think you should, I'm talking about this kind of Instagram worthy version of wellness that we're all being sold. When we try to live up to that on a day to day, it's not sustainable. We run out of bandwidth. And this is the conundrum. It's the tension between the level of excellence that all high performers aspire to and the need for simplicity in order to get results. And it's not just a want, it is a need. We need simplicity, at least at first, in order to get results. And I'm guilty of this too. I am not speaking from a soapbox or from some pedestal. I am guilty of this too, because I'm a high performer. My brain is wired that way. I shared a few episodes back about the unhealthy obsession of optimizing everything. That's the messaging we're all being given about wellness. And I think it was episode 18 where I talked about how I bought this fitness watch because I wanted to track my heart rate during workouts, and what a rabbit hole it took me down, because the app, when I was setting it up, there was this subtle communication that I needed to program the watch to also be focused on daily stress levels and respiration rate and skin temperature and all of these things that I literally had no interest in. They were not aligned to my health goals. But I was told that if I'm really serious about my health, then I need to be optimizing these things as well. Optimize everything, right? It's these unspoken rules of wellness that are very subtle, but they need to be challenged, because if we don't challenge them, then they just run in the background and they can inform our decisions and the things that we do on a day to day basis without us even knowing about it. And so ultimately, my point is this: your health routine will never work if it's unsustainable. You have to be able to keep up with it in your real life, not just on weekends or weeks where everything goes perfectly. It has to align with your life right now. And it should be easy for you to implement. And for most people, especially those starting from scratch, less is more. The more simple, the better. Because momentum, the thing that we're all looking to create is that momentum, right? Momentum is generated through consistent action. And you can't create consistent action if you can't follow through on your routine. So I'll leave you with this today. Where do you need to trim the fat? Where are you going too hard and need to scale back? What simple thing can you do today that would get you moving in the right direction? It can literally be a 10-minute walk outside. It doesn't have to be earth shattering. Just a step in the right direction is all it takes. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to Wellness for High Performers. If this episode helped you, please take a moment to share it with a friend or a colleague, or leave me a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Keep protecting your energy and honoring your well being, and I'll see you in the next episode. If you want more support, head to elevaze.com. That's ELEV as in victory, AYS.com. And join me inside the Elite Edge. That's my weekly inspiration email for high performers like you who want to thrive while they achieve. Until next time, make time for what matters and keep showing up as the high performer you're created to be.